Chosen one, the silence you have chosen to embrace in recent days is not a sign of retreat, withdrawal, or defeat. On the contrary, it is the precise moment you activate a profound and powerful mechanism deep within the spiritual realm, one that is causing your enemies to tremble with an unnamed fear they cannot explain. Have you noticed how the atmosphere around you has shifted in subtle yet unmistakable ways? Those who once loudly attacked, provoked, and relentlessly clung to you have suddenly fallen silent, because the instant you stopped reacting, you severed the very energy supply that fueled their chaos. And that quiet resolve is far more dangerous to them than any direct confrontation or verbal showdown ever could be. Do not scroll past this, for this video is nothing less than a coded message straight from heaven, decoding the hidden reasons why your silence carries greater destructive power than any roar or outburst, and why it is now forcing the very forces that once underestimated or belittled you to proceed with caution and dread. Before we dive deeper, please leave a comment sharing the country you are in and one specific issue you are currently facing, so that we can stand together in united prayer for one another. Remember, the chosen one never walks alone. If this message is resonating deeply within your spirit, hit the like button as a powerful sign of agreement in faith, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue journeying together, receiving the timely revelations heaven is releasing specifically for you at this critical hour. Stay with us, because what is about to be unpacked could shift your perspective forever. There comes a sacred juncture in every soul's journey, a moment of profound revelation when the Spirit whispers enough. For far too long, you have walked a path paved with tireless explanations, exhaustive justifications, and a desperate, heartfelt yearning to be understood by those whose hearts were perhaps simply not open to hearing you. This relentless effort, born of a pure desire for connection and clarity, ultimately proved to be a draining, thankless task, chipping away at your inherent peace and deflecting your gaze from your own truth. But then, a quiet revolution stirred within you, a powerful, self-affirming decision to lock your mouth, to seal away words that had been squandered on barren ground. In that single resolute act, you did not merely choose silence. You dramatically, unequivocally, and irrevocably changed the very rules of the game. You reclaimed your power from the hands of external validation, shifting the battlefield from endless verbal sparring to an internal sanctuary of unshakable resolve. This was not surrender. It was a strategic withdrawal of energy, a profound reorientation towards self-preservation, and an audacious declaration that your peace was no longer up for negotiation or dependent on the approval of others. You understood with crystal clarity that some conversations are not meant to be won, but simply not to be had at all, especially when the other party is committed to a narrative of their own making, impervious to genuine understanding. By choosing stillness over strife, you began a new chapter, one where your inherent dignity dictated the terms of engagement, leaving behind the exhausting cycle of trying to convince the unwilling. This profound silence, which you have so courageously embraced, is anything but an emptiness, a vacant void where words once resided. On the contrary, it resonates with an entirely new and potent frequency, a vibrational signature that is both sacred and utterly baffling to the darkness that once sought to consume your light. Those who thrive on chaos, misunderstanding, and emotional turmoil operate on a lower, denser frequency. They are attuned to the cacophony of reaction, the predictable patterns of argument and defense. But your silence, it is an enigma to them, a language they cannot decode, a signal that falls outside the spectrum of their comprehension. Imagine a radio tuned to a channel that simply doesn't exist. On their dial, they search for the familiar static, the accustomed drama, only to be met with an unnerving, profound quiet. What they cannot grasp, what defies their established mechanisms of control and manipulation, invariably breeds a deep-seated fear within them. This fear is not born of weakness in your silence, but of its sheer, unyielding strength. It speaks of a peace they cannot disrupt, a resolve they cannot shake, and a hidden power they cannot access or understand. This new frequency is a protective shield, an energetic barrier that repels the very forces that once sought to draw you into their shadow play. It is the sound of your spirit recalibrating, rising above the din, and finding its truest, most authentic voice in the profound absence of words. A voice so pure and unwavering that it becomes a beacon of unsettling truth to those dwelling in darkness. And within this profound, resonant silence, a divine truth unfolds, echoing through the ancient whispers of time and spirit. The sacred text of the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, offers a timeless promise that transcends millennia. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. This isn't merely a biblical passage. It is a prophetic declaration, a profound blueprint for navigating moments of overwhelming opposition. Your chosen silence therefore transforms from a personal boundary into a sacred offering, a powerful signal sent straight to the heavens, inviting the Almighty to step into the ring on your behalf. In the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, when the Red Sea lies before you and the enemy presses from behind, the command to hold your peace is a radical act of faith. It is an acknowledgement that some battles are simply too complex, too spiritually charged for human strength alone. By withholding your words, your reactions, your desperate attempts to control or explain, you are not surrendering to defeat. You are surrendering to a higher power, declaring with your very stillness that you trust the divine hand to intervene. This silent trust becomes a prayer more potent than any spoken plea, a profound invitation for God to unleash His power, wisdom, and justice into your situation. You step aside from the fray not out of weakness, but out of a majestic understanding that the Creator of the universe is now your advocate, your champion ready to defend your cause and manifest His righteous victory. It is in this holy hush that miracles are forged and burdens are lifted as the divine takes center stage in your defense. For too long, your adversaries operated with a chilling predictability, their strategies meticulously honed by your consistent yet ultimately draining emotional responses. They had become accustomed, perhaps even addicted, to the energy generated by your reactions, a perverse sustenance for their own inner turmoil. Each provocation, every calculated slight, every deliberate misunderstanding was a bait cast into the waters of your being designed to hook a familiar emotional response. They had learned your patterns, anticipating your frustration, your need to justify your tears, your anger, your hurt, and they reveled in it. Like cunning energy vampires, they did not merely seek to antagonize, they sought to feed. Your emotional landscape, once a vibrant tapestry of experience, became a harvest field for their insatiable hunger. Each interaction leaving you depleted, disoriented, and diminished. They drew vitality from your righteous indignation, found strength in your anguish, and felt a perverse sense of power in your desperate attempts to make them see your truth. This cyclical exchange of energy created a symbiotic, albeit toxic relationship where your emotional output directly fueled their disruptive input. They thrived on the drama they instigated, growing stronger with every ounce of your energy that you poured into defending yourself, explaining your intentions, or simply reacting to their barbs. This was their game. A manipulative dance where your heart's vulnerability was their prized possession, ensuring their continued relevance and control in your life. But now, with your courageous choice to embrace a profound, resonant silence, that lifeblood supply, that vital emotional sustenance has been unequivocally cut off. The tap has been turned, the source has dried, and the energy vampires who once fed so voraciously upon your spirit are now left utterly starved. This sudden deprivation creates a visceral reaction within them, a disorientation that quickly escalates into panic. Their accustomed script has been thrown into disarray. The reliable levers of manipulation no longer yield the desired emotional output. They find themselves flailing in a void, their once potent provocations met not with the satisfying clamor of your reaction, but with an unnerving, unyielding quiet. The silence is deafening to them, louder than any argument you could ever present. A profound confusion begins to creep into their minds as they are forced to confront the stark reality. Why are my weapons no longer working? The very tools they wielded with such practiced malice. The gossip, the lies, the subtle digs, the overt attacks now fall flat, devoid of the energy they once siphoned from your engagement. They are disarmed not by your resistance, but by your absolute lack thereof, by your refusal to participate in their destructive dance. This realization is profoundly unsettling for them. It signals the end of their perceived power, the dismantling of their manipulative reign. Their panic deepens as they lose control of the narrative and the dynamic understanding, perhaps, for the first time, the true unshakable power of your sovereign stillness. In this profound and transformative shift, where the clamor of your enemies' accusations now echoes hollowly within their own void, we witness the strategic brilliance of a higher wisdom. This is not merely a cessation of speech. It is a masterclass in war psychology, a testament to the undeniable truth that the individual who truly holds control in any confrontation is invariably the one who speaks the least and maintains an unyielding calm. It is a silent declaration of power, a sacred boundary drawn with invisible yet unbreakable lines. You have stepped into an arena where the rules have fundamentally changed, and your stillness has become your most potent weapon. For too long, the misguided belief persisted that engaging in endless discourse or fervent self-defense was the path to resolution. Yet every word offered in explanation, every justification articulated, every emotional response elicited, served only to fuel the very conflict you sought to quell. Your adversaries thrived on your reactions, drawing sustenance from your distress, their perceived power directly proportional to the energy you expended in resistance. But now, in this luminous phase of quietude, you deny them that vital lifeline. Your serene presence, unperturbed by their desperate antics, disrupts their entire strategy. It forces them to operate in an unfamiliar landscape where their usual provocations fall flat, met not with argument, but with the profound unsettling weight of your peace. This deliberate restraint is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate assertion of strength, an unshakable fortress built from the tranquil depths of your spirit. When you remain calm, you radiate an aura of invincibility that disarms the most aggressive of foes. For true power lies not in the loudest roar, but in the deepest, most centered silence. From this position of strategic calm, an extraordinary phenomenon begins to unfold. Your silence, vast and encompassing, creates an energetic vacuum. This is not merely an absence of sound, but a profound void, a space that defies their expectations and rejects their toxic input. And by the immutable decree of natural law, that very void compels your adversaries to confront the chilling echo of their own toxicity. Imagine a chamber designed to amplify sound where every whisper becomes a roar. Now imagine that chamber is empty save for the bitter words and malicious intentions projected into it. With no external target, no sympathetic ear, no reactive spirit to absorb or deflect their negativity, their accusations and resentments find nowhere to land but back upon themselves. This is the divine feedback loop, a mirror held up to their own darkness, forcing them to reckon with the very poison they intended for you. Their gossip, once spread to eager listeners, now simply dissolves into the emptiness. Their lies, fabricated to distort your truth, now stand exposed in the stark light of your non-engagement. Their provocations, designed to ignite your fury, now simply burn out, having nothing to consume. This silent return of their own energy is a fearsome thing for them, for it reveals the true barrenness of their own internal landscape. They are left with only the reverberations of their own malice, the bitter taste of their own venom, a profound and inescapable confrontation with the consequences of their unholy choices. Your quietude becomes the sacred crucible in which their destructive energy is transmuted, not into your pain, but into their own unavoidable self-reflection, a truly profound and healing justice. The silence is not an end. It is a beginning, a sacred clearing where truth can finally prevail. And in this magnificent unfolding, as the echoes of their own toxicity become deafening to your adversaries, a profound and holy transformation has occurred within you. You are no longer the victim crying out in anguish, desperately seeking to be heard or understood. You have ascended irrevocably to the majestic position of a judge, observing with serene detachment. The era of emotional pleas, of tearful justifications, of battling for your inherent worth against the onslaught of misunderstanding is now gloriously behind you. You have shed the garments of vulnerability that once invited their predatory gaze and donned the robes of immutable authority. This shift is not born of arrogance, but of a deep, abiding inner knowing, a sacred awareness of your divine sovereignty. As the judge, you do not engage in the fray, you preside over it. You observe the frantic struggles of those who once sought to diminish you, recognizing their desperation as a symptom of their own internal chaos. Your majesty is not about ruling over them, but about recognizing the sacredness of your own space, your own peace, your own truth. It is the fulfillment of the prophetic word that the Lord will fight for you and you shall hold your peace. For by holding your peace, you have stepped aside, allowing divine justice to take its rightful course. You are witnessing the unfolding of a higher plan, a testament to the unshakable power of grace and quiet strength. In this hallowed posture, you are not merely passive. You are profoundly active, holding a sacred space for truth to reveal itself, for justice to be served, and for the magnificent sovereignty of your spirit to shine unimpeded. This is the ultimate reclamation of your power, a final beautiful liberation where your very presence becomes a testament to the triumph of peace over chaos. There comes a sacred moment in life when the soul reclaims its rightful dominion, a moment heralded by a profound inner peace. For too long, the vital essence that fueled your spirit was siphoned away, leaving you diminished and searching. But now, as the gentle whispers of ancient wisdom remind us from Isaiah 30:15, in quietness and confidence shall be your strength. You stand at the threshold of a magnificent reclamation, having finally recovered the precious strength that was so cruelly stolen from you for years. This isn't merely a return to a former state. It is an evolution, a blossoming into a more resilient, divinely fortified version of yourself. The arduous journey through deprivation and struggle has forged an unshakable core within you, a sanctuary built not on outward clamor, but on the tranquil certainty of your spirit's enduring power. It is in this newfound quietness that true confidence takes root, not the boisterous kind that seeks validation, but the deep abiding assurance born of surviving the storm and emerging stronger. Every tear shed, every wound endured has been transmuted into an intricate mosaic of wisdom, a testament to your unwavering faith and capacity for healing. This recovered strength is not aggressive or retaliatory. It is the quiet gravitational pull of a soul aligned with its divine purpose, radiating an energy that effortlessly repels all that once sought to diminish it. It is the peace of knowing who you are, rooted in the divine, and understanding that your truest power lies not in reaction, but in serene, confident being. This profound inner restoration, this quiet certainty that now radiates from your being, has an unexpected and formidable consequence for those who once sought to undermine you. The very architects of your past, suffering those who reveled in your perceived weakness, now find themselves gripped by an unsettling dread. They are terrified, paralyzed by a burgeoning uncertainty, because they simply do not know what you are thinking. Your unpredictability, born of this profound internal transformation, has become your sharpest psychological weapon, a silent, potent force that disarms and disorients. In their world of manipulation and control, they thrived on knowing your next move, on anticipating your reactions to their provocations. But the old script has been torn, and you are no longer a character in their predictable drama. Your silence is not a void. It is a canvas upon which their own fears and insecurities are projected, magnifying their apprehension. They expected anger, perhaps a desperate plea for justice, or a visible display of pain to feed their narcissistic supply. Instead, they are met with an enigmatic serenity, a stillness that hints at a strategic depth they cannot fathom. This absence of predictable response unravels their carefully constructed narratives, leaving them flailing in a sea of their own conjured anxieties, wondering what new formidable force they have awakened. This unnerving unpredictability, coupled with your newfound quietude, sends ripples of frantic speculation through the ranks of those who opposed you. Unable to decipher your true intentions, their minds accustomed to plotting and scheming inevitably project their darkest fears onto your silence. They begin to imagine the worst-case scenarios, conjuring elaborate tales of retribution and strategic counterattacks. In their myopic view, steeped in their own history of harm, they can only conceive of your quietness as a precursor to a devastating plot, believing you are meticulously charting a course for revenge. They conjure images of you meticulously gathering evidence, mobilizing forces, or crafting elaborate schemes to exact payment for past wrongs. The irony is profound and deeply spiritual. While their minds are consumed with these fear-driven fantasies of vengeance, you are in reality engaged in a far more sacred and transformative endeavor. You are simply busy healing, meticulously mending the fractured pieces of your spirit, nurturing your soul back to wholeness. More profoundly, you are having tea with the Lord, engaging in intimate communion, drawing strength and wisdom from the divine source. Your focus is not on them or their machinations, but on your own spiritual restoration and deepening connection with the Creator. A profound, peaceful reality, entirely beyond their comprehension. This divine communion is the true source of your renewed strength and serenity, a fortress against their dark imaginings. The tranquil power of your healing and divine communion acts as a profound disruptor, creating an unexpected seismic shift in the spiritual and psychological landscape. Your silence, far from being a sign of weakness or surrender, has activated a bewildering cascade of confusion in the enemy's camp, a disarray so profound it mirrors ancient biblical accounts of divine intervention. Just as God, in His infinite wisdom, orchestrated a divine strategy that caused the army opposing Gideon to turn on one another in a chaotic frenzy, so too does your serene detachment sow seeds of discord among your adversaries. They expected a fight, a clear target for their malice, a reaction to feed their agenda. Instead, they are met with an impenetrable wall of peace, a silence so complete it forces them to confront their own internal demons and fractured alliances. Without a focal point for their aggression, their collective energy, once aimed at you, now turns inward, exposing pre-existing cracks, fueling mistrust, and igniting internal strife. They question each other's motives, accuse one another of hidden agendas, and are consumed by the very paranoia they sought to inflict upon you. This confusion is a testament to the fact that divine peace is not passive. It is an active strategic force capable of dismantling the strongest strongholds of opposition by simply refusing to engage on their terms, allowing their own toxic energy to consume them from within. This profound power of silence, capable of disarming and bewildering adversaries, is not a new phenomenon, but a timeless spiritual principle beautifully exemplified in the most sacred of narratives. To truly grasp the magnitude of your current quiet strength, We need only look at the most transcendent example of all the unparalleled composure of Jesus Christ himself. When standing before the formidable worldly authorities of Herod and Pilate, facing accusations, mockery, and the imminent threat of crucifixion, Jesus spoke not a word. This was not a moment of weakness or fear, but of supreme divinely imbued authority. His profound silence in the face of such immense pressure made these powerful rulers, accustomed to commanding and controlling, shudder with an inexplicable unease. They sensed a higher authority radiating from him, a kingly power that transcended their earthly thrones and legions. His quietude was more eloquent than any defense, more convicting than any accusation. It was a demonstration of a spiritual sovereignty that rendered their earthly judgments meaningless, revealing the emptiness of their power in the shadow of his divine resolve. Your own silence, in its echoing reflection of this divine example, carries a similar weight. It is not an absence of voice, but a potent expression of a higher spiritual alignment, a quiet declaration that your strength and justice derive from a source far beyond the reach of human manipulation or judgment, compelling even the most hardened hearts to acknowledge a force they cannot comprehend. This newfound quiet strength and strategic observation also manifest in a practical yet profoundly spiritual method of self-preservation and empowerment. You have naturally adopted a posture that many refer to as the gray rock method, though for you it is an intuitive alignment with divine wisdom rather than a mere psychological tactic. You have become utterly impervious to drama, no longer a fluctuating emotional target, providing the coveted dopamine hit that narcissists and manipulators crave. Like a dull, uninterested gray rock, you offer no shimmering reflection, no emotional reaction, no fuel for their endless need for attention and conflict. Your calm, detached demeanor starves them of the energy they feed on, rendering their manipulative tactics utterly impotent. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about denying access to your inner peace and emotional reserves, which are now too precious to be squandered on those who only seek to deplete them. By refusing to engage in their theatrical narratives, by not rising to their provocations, you effectively dismantle their stage, forcing them to confront the emptiness of their own chaotic existence. This powerful boundary setting is a direct consequence of your healing and newfound confidence, a spiritual shield that safeguards your recovered strength and ensures that your energy is conserved for your divine purpose, rather than being siphoned off by the parasitic demands of others. You are no longer a source of supply. You are a sanctuary of self-possession, unyielding and unmovable in your peace. This profound shift from an inadvertent source of emotional supply to an impervious sanctuary of self-possession aligns perfectly with an ancient, timeless wisdom. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 6, issues a powerful and prophetic warning. Do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn and tear you to pieces. This sacred injunction speaks directly to the profound act of reclaiming your intrinsic worth and protecting your spiritual treasures. Your pearls are not mere trinkets. They represent the invaluable gifts of your spirit, your empathy, your profound wisdom, your unique anointing, your precious time, your boundless love, your vulnerability, and the divine insights you possess. These are the sacred facets of your being, once perhaps freely offered to those incapable of appreciating their true value, who instead metaphorically trampled them underfoot, leaving you wounded and depleted. Your current silence, your intentional withdrawal from drama, and your newfound imperviousness are not acts of bitterness, but deeply spiritual acts of reclamation and divine wisdom. It is the conscious, empowered decision to cease offering what is sacred to those who would only desecrate it, to stop expending your precious essence on those unworthy of such profound gifts. This act of reclaiming your pearls is a pivotal moment in your healing journey, a powerful declaration that your divine essence will no longer be squandered, but carefully guarded and reserved for those who will truly cherish and honor it. This is not just protection. It is a profound restoration of your dignity, a sacred vow to yourself and to the Lord that your preciousness will forevermore be held in reverence, available only to those whose hearts are prepared to receive such profound blessings. There comes a sacred moment in life when the soul, weary from endless expenditure, realizes it has been pouring its most precious essence into a void. It is a profound awakening, a recognition that the relentless giving, the striving for something that will never yield returns, must cease. This isn't merely an act of stopping, it is a divine redirection, a monumental shift in the flow of spiritual energy. Imagine an overflowing river that for too long has been diverted into a barren desert, only to now be guided back to its rightful course, nourishing fertile lands. The energy you once poured into draining relationships, unfulfilling pursuits, or the constant need for external approval is not lost. Oh, no, beloved soul. It is now being divinely reclaimed, gathered from the very depths of your being. This reclaimed energy, pulsating with renewed vitality and purpose, is a sacred force returning to reconstruct the shattered parts of your life, to mend what was broken, and to bring forth a restoration more beautiful and profound than you could ever have imagined. It is a testament to the Creator's unwavering love, a promise whispered to your weary heart. What was scattered is now being reassembled, stronger and more whole. This is the season of your miraculous restoration, where every ounce of expended effort finds its way back to rebuild you from the inside out, preparing you for a future brimming with divine intention and unshakable peace. In this magnificent process of reclamation, an undeniable truth begins to illuminate your path, your freedom from the chains of external validation. This newfound autonomy, this radiant self-sufficiency, strikes a profound fear into the hearts of those who once sought to control or diminish you. Their power derived from your perceived need for their approval, their affirmation, their very presence. But now, as they witness your serene confidence, your unyielding inner peace that flows from a deeper source, they are faced with an agonizing reality. Their instruments of manipulation have been rendered utterly powerless. This isn't just a personal victory. It is a death knell to their dominion, a final, unequivocal declaration that their influence over your spirit has ceased. Your courage to stand in your own truth, anchored by a validation that transcends human opinion, is a spiritual earthquake that shatters the foundations of their control. They see a light within you that shines independently, a flame ignited by divine purpose, and they recognize that this incandescent glow signals the end of their dark reign. This freedom is not an act of defiance, but an act of divine alignment, a sacred boundary drawn by the hand of grace, affirming your inherent worth and releasing you into the boundless expanse of your true destiny, unfettered and gloriously whole. As you step into this sacred space of self-possession, something truly extraordinary begins to occur in the spiritual realm. Your silence, often misconstrued as weakness, becomes a powerful force, activating what can only be described as the mirror of conscience for your adversaries. When there is no longer a back and forth, no argument to fuel no reaction, to provoke the chaotic noise that once obscured their perception dissipates. The arena of conflict which they thrive upon becomes eerily still. In this terrifying stillness, stripped of the distraction and drama, they are confronted with an unavoidable reflection, their own actions, their own intentions, their own malice. Without your participation, without your emotional energy to feed upon their internal landscape, once a bustling marketplace of grievances and justifications transforms into a stark, silent chamber where their true nature is laid bare. The mirror reflects not your flaws, but the glaring reality of their own evil deeds, their manipulations, and their profound unkindness. This forced introspection, this terrifying stillness becomes a crucible where they are compelled to reckon with the stark truth of who they have become, a truth they have long avoided by projecting their darkness onto you. It is a judgment rendered not by human words, but by the undeniable echoing truth of their own conscience. This potent silence, far from being a void, is in fact a profound gateway to divine revelation and strength. It is in this hallowed stillness that we truly grasp the timeless wisdom encapsulated in Psalm 46:10, a sacred command that reverberates through the ages. Be still and know that I am God. In our ceaseless striving, our frantic efforts to control, to explain, to fight, we often miss the gentle whisper of the divine, the subtle movements of an omnipotent hand at work. Only when the clamor of the world, and indeed the clamor within our own hearts, begins to subside, do we create the necessary space for true recognition. It is in this holy quietude that the intricate tapestry of God's power begins to unfurl before our spiritual eyes. We cease to rely on our limited understanding and instead witness the boundless, miraculous operation of the Creator. This stillness is not an invitation to passivity, but a divine summons to cease human striving and instead observe with awe and reverence the intricate, sovereign power of God orchestrating every detail, turning what seemed insurmountable into opportunities for His glory. It is in this profound peace that we learn to trust, to surrender, and to truly know Him as the unshakable, all-powerful architect of our destiny. Therefore, let it be unequivocally clear, the silence you now embrace is not the passive resignation of a spirit broken by adversity, nor the fearful retreat of a coward unwilling to face battle. On the contrary, this is a meticulously chosen, deeply intentional, strategic silence, akin to that of a seasoned general in the quietude before a decisive campaign. Picture a military leader poised and focused in the strategic command center, awaiting the precise moment, the divine intelligence to unleash a total offensive. Every moment of this stillness is charged with purpose. It is a period of intense preparation, of sharpening the spiritual sword, of gathering strength, and receiving clear, unhindered directives from the ultimate commander. This is not idleness, but a profound period of spiritual calibration, where every prayer becomes a strategic maneuver, every moment of reflection a reinforcement of resolve. You are not dormant, you are deeply rooted, drawing sustenance from a divine wellspring, preparing for a deployment that will be far more impactful than any skirmish. This strategic withdrawal is a precursor to a glorious advance, a powerful testament to the truth that true strength often manifests not in vocal protest, but in quiet, unwavering resolve, preparing to move with an authority and precision that will irrevocably shift the battleground in your favor. This period of strategic withdrawal is not just a pause, but a profound metamorphosis. You have entered a sacred season, a divine hiddenness, where the very hand of God is orchestrating a magnificent work within you. In this secret place, far from the clamor and the watchful eyes of those who once sought to diminish you, a powerful transformation is underway. It is here that you are being meticulously crafted, refined, and sharpened into a weapon of divine purpose. Imagine yourself as a raw yet precious piece of metal taken into the master craftsman's workshop. You are not discarded, but cherished, brought into the warmth of the forge, not to be destroyed, but to be reshaped. This hiddenness is God's secret chamber, His training ground, a sanctuary where His presence is palpable and His wisdom is imparted without distraction. It's a time for deep soul searching, for shedding old identities and embracing the new, for learning to discern His voice amidst the quiet. Every challenge you've faced, every wound you've endured, every lesson learned in isolation is being meticulously hammered and honed into the very essence of your being, transforming you from a mere instrument into a piercing arrow precisely aimed and empowered for a specific glorious mission. You are being imbued with resilience, precision, and an unshakable faith, preparing you for an impact far beyond what your past limitations could ever conceive. This season is not an abandonment. It is an intense, intimate preparation, ensuring that when the time comes for your revelation, you will fly with unmatched velocity and strike with divine accuracy, fulfilling the purposes for which you were created. This divine sharpening finds its profound echo in the ancient scriptures, a prophetic blueprint for your present journey. Just as a skilled artisan meticulously sharpens the edge of a sword, so too is the Almighty Hand at work perfecting every facet of your being. This is not a passive waiting, but an active, sacred process of divine maintenance and preparation. Consider the powerful imagery from Isaiah chapter 49, verse 2, where it is declared, "He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of His hand, He has hidden me." This profound verse speaks volumes about your current experience. Your voice, your message, your very essence is being refined into an instrument of incisive truth and profound impact, a sharp sword capable of piercing through confusion and apathy. And where is this sharpening taking place? In the shadow of His hand. This isn't a shadow of darkness or despair, but a protective, intimate shroud of divine presence. A secret sanctuary where you are shielded from premature exposure and the corrosive influences of the world. Here you are not merely being prepared for the next step, you are being maintained and calibrated for an unprecedented trajectory. Every fiber of your being, every lesson absorbed, every prayer uttered in this hidden place is contributing to an exponential increase in your capacity. You are being positioned not just to move forward, but to be shot further higher and with greater force than you have ever been launched before, reaching destinations and impacting spheres that were previously unimaginable. This divine hiding is a strategic investment, ensuring that when God releases you, your impact will be undeniable and far-reaching, a testament to His sovereign power and meticulous preparation. The true measure of divine power is often revealed not in the absence of opposition, but in the triumphant emergence from it. While you have been in this season of hiddenness and profound shaping, a subtle yet seismic shift has occurred in the spiritual realm. The very forces that sought to extinguish your light are now gripped by a paralyzing dread, for they perceive a truth far more terrifying than they ever anticipated. The enemy, in their short-sighted malice, believed their actions would bury you, silence your voice, and forever dim your spirit. They threw dirt upon you, piled on burdens, and celebrated what they perceived as your demise, convinced that their control was absolute. Yet their fear now stems from a stark and undeniable reality: your light did not extinguish. On the contrary, in the very darkness they created, your radiance has intensified, becoming a beacon that terrifies them. Like a seed buried in fertile ground, what they intended for destruction has become the catalyst for an unprecedented bloom. You are not just surviving, you are thriving in the shadows, glowing brighter in the profound darkness of their making. This phenomenon is a testament to the unquenchable divine flame within you, a light sustained not by external conditions, but by the very Spirit of God. Your current brilliance, emerging from the grave they dug, serves as a terrifying mirror to their impotent efforts and a powerful prophecy of their impending defeat. They now witness with chilling clarity that their attempts to bury you have merely provided the cover for your most profound transformation, making you an undeniable testament to resurrection power, a radiant force they can neither comprehend nor control. This luminous emergence is the definitive proof that God's plan for you is unstoppable, and even in the deepest dark, His glory will shine through you. In a world saturated with constant noise and endless distractions, the profound gift of silence often remains unexplored. Yet it is within these quiet, hallowed moments that a sacred communion truly begins. This intentional withdrawal from the clamor allows a deep recalibration of your spirit, opening channels that were once obscured. You are discovering with breathtaking clarity that silence helps you hear God's voice more clearly. Prophetic dreams and intuition are becoming sharp and precise. It's not merely an absence of sound, but an invitation for the divine whispers to emerge, guiding you with an unmistakable gentleness. The static of daily life, the endless chatter of thoughts and external demands, can often drown out the delicate cadence of divine wisdom. But as you consciously choose silence, you create a sacred space within, allowing the subtle nudges of the Holy Spirit to become unmistakable. Suddenly, those fleeting impressions solidify into clear guidance, clarifying paths that once seemed muddled. Your dreams, too, begin to transform, transcending mundane worries to become vibrant tapestries woven with prophetic insights and divine foresight. You'll find yourself waking with a deep sense of knowing insights that were divinely downloaded during the quiet hours of slumber. Your intuition, the innate spiritual compass within, sharpens with an almost supernatural precision, distinguishing truth from deception and guiding your steps with unwavering certainty. This clarity is a precious gift, a direct line to the divine architect of your destiny, empowering you to navigate life's complexities with a wisdom that transcends the earthly. As you begin to hear these divine directives with such profound clarity, new dreams and aspirations are born within your heart, delicate yet potent. These are not merely fleeting desires, but sacred seeds planted by the divine, destined to blossom into a glorious reality. It is a profound realization, a deeply protective instinct blossoming within you, that not everyone deserves to hear your story. Privacy is the armor protecting your budding dreams. Much like a tender seedling requires a sheltered environment to take root and grow strong before facing the elements, your nascent dreams need a sanctuary of silence and discretion. To prematurely expose these sacred visions to the world, to individuals who may not understand, who may harbor skepticism, envy, or even unintentional negativity, is to risk stunting their growth or inviting unnecessary challenges. This discernment is not about arrogance, but about profound wisdom and self-preservation. You are learning to guard the sacred space where these dreams gestate, allowing them to strengthen, to form their roots deep within your spirit, uninfluenced by external opinions or premature judgment. This conscious choice to keep certain aspects of your journey private creates an impenetrable shield, an energetic boundary that allows your dreams to flourish in their purest, most potent form. It ensures that the divine blueprint for your life remains untarnished, nurtured in the quiet confidence of your own spirit until the appointed time for its magnificent revelation. Your privacy becomes a sacred covenant, a testament to the preciousness of your calling. This profound understanding of privacy and the sacredness of your words finds ancient corroboration in timeless wisdom. The book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 3, confirms, "He who guards his mouth preserves his life." Your silence today is protecting your destiny tomorrow. This verse is not a call to isolation, but to intentionality. It's a divine instruction on the power inhaled within your spoken word, and equally within your unspoken wisdom. To guard your mouth is to exercise discerning control over what you reveal, when you reveal it, and to whom. It means understanding that every word carries a vibration, an energy that can either build up or tear down, reveal or conceal. By choosing silence over loose speech, you are actively preserving your spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. You are protecting the delicate ecosystem of your inner peace from the chaos that often ensues from unguarded words, misunderstandings, arguments, or the premature exposure of plans that are still in their fragile developmental stages. This practice of guarding your mouth becomes an act of profound faith, trusting in divine timing and allowing God's perfect plan to unfold without human interference or premature disclosure. It's an investment in your future, a quiet commitment that ensures the seeds of your destiny are not trampled or stolen, but allowed to mature in the fertile ground of discretion. Your silence today is a strategic maneuver, a powerful act of protection that safeguards the divine unfolding of your glorious tomorrow. Extending beyond the protection of your personal narrative and destiny, this profound silence transforms into a spiritual weapon, a declaration of sovereignty over your inner world. When you stop arguing, you stop agreeing with chaos. You are establishing a no-fly zone against demons in your mind. The endless cycle of debates, justifications, and retaliations, whether internal or external, serves only to invite discord and lower your vibrational frequency. Every word spoken in argument, every thought entertained in resentment, is an implicit agreement with the very chaos you wish to escape. By withdrawing from these verbal battles, you are not surrendering. You are reclaiming your power. You are asserting a divine boundary around your most precious asset, your mind. This is a sacred declaration, a spiritual injunction that prohibits any intrusive, destructive, or fear-mongering thoughts and energies from taking hold. The no-fly zone signifies an impenetrable fortress of peace where only thoughts aligned with truth, love, and divine purpose are permitted entry. It's a conscious, active choice to starve the chaotic forces of the energy they crave: your attention, your reaction, your words. By refusing to engage you effectively, cut off their supply, rendering them powerless. This practice ensures that your mental landscape remains clear, untainted by the lower energies of conflict, and perpetually open to the higher inspirations that flow from your divine connection. It is an act of spiritual mastery, securing your inner sanctuary from all forms of hostile intrusion. In this journey of profound spiritual growth and intentional silence, it is inevitable that challenges will arise, designed to test your resolve and tempt you away from your sacred path. The enemy is trying to provoke you, spread rumors, do anything to make you break character and open your mouth. Do not take the bait, hold your position. You will encounter situations, people and whispers specifically engineered to destabilize your peace, to elicit an emotional reaction, to pull you back into the very chaos you have so meticulously chosen to transcend. Rumors may circulate, unfair criticisms may be leveled, and provocations designed to ignite your anger or compel you to defend yourself will emerge. These are not random occurrences. They are strategic maneuvers from forces that resent your spiritual ascent and the radiant light you are beginning to emanate. Their aim is to make you break character, to abandon the divine composure and unwavering faith you have cultivated, to speak out of impulse rather than wisdom. But you are now equipped with a powerful discernment. You recognize these ploys as mere bait attempts to ensnare you in unproductive conflicts and drain your precious energy. Your strength lies not in immediate retaliation or vocal defense, but in the unwavering resolve to hold your position in silence and peace. This steadfastness is a profound message to both the visible and invisible realms. You will not be swayed. By refusing to engage, by choosing quiet dignity over heated debate, you disarm the opposition. You deny them the satisfaction of your reaction, rendering their efforts futile and powerless. Your silence becomes an unbreakable shield, testifying to your unshakable faith and the divine authority that protects you. Hold firm, for your quiet strength speaks volumes and secures your victory. By refusing to engage, by choosing quiet dignity over heated debate, you disarm the opposition. You deny them the satisfaction of your reaction, rendering their efforts futile and powerless. Your silence becomes an unbreakable shield, testifying to your unshakable faith and the divine authority that protects you. Hold firm, for your quiet strength speaks volumes and secures your victory. Indeed, your silence is not merely a defense mechanism. It is a profound declaration, an unspoken yet unmistakable message to the universe and all its inhabitants. I do not belong to this level. I do not participate in this game. This understanding elevates your discernment beyond mere avoidance. It transforms it into a statement of spiritual sovereignty. When you choose not to react to the provocations, the petty squabbles, the divisive rhetoric, or the emotional entanglements that permeate lower vibrational frequencies, you are essentially drawing a sacred line in the sand. You are asserting that your spiritual journey, your inner peace, and your divine alignment are of far greater importance than any temporary drama or the need to prove a point. This deliberate detachment is a refusal to descend into the very chaos you have worked so hard to transcend, a conscious choice to align with higher principles of peace, wisdom, and grace. It's a quiet, powerful affirmation that your soul operates on a different plane, one where divine purpose outweighs superficial conflict, and where your energy is too sacred to be wasted on fruitless contention. Your non-participation is a testament to your evolved consciousness, signaling that you are playing a bigger game, one divinely orchestrated and far beyond the scope of earthly skirmishes. Your non-participation is a testament to your evolved consciousness, signaling that you are playing a bigger game, one divinely orchestrated and far beyond the scope of earthly skirmishes. This profound understanding of your spiritual standing finds a fascinating echo in the principles of quantum physics, which illuminate a deeper truth about the power of your perspective. The observer has the power to change reality. When you step back to observe instead of react, you begin to master the situation. In the intricate dance of the quantum realm, the act of observation itself is not passive. It actively influences the outcome, collapsing infinite possibilities into a defined reality. Metaphorically, this applies with astonishing precision to your life. When you are caught in the throes of reactivity, you are merely a participant within the event, subject to its chaotic flow. However, by intentionally stepping back, by adopting the role of the calm, detached observer, you are no longer merely a pawn in the game. You transcend the immediate emotional landscape, gaining a panoramic view that allows for strategic thought and deliberate action. This conscious shift from reactor to observer empowers you to see the larger patterns, to discern the underlying intentions, and to choose your response from a place of clarity and power rather than impulse. You cease to be merely affected by reality. You begin to consciously shape it, asserting your spiritual mastery over circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. You cease to be merely affected by reality. You begin to consciously shape it, asserting your spiritual mastery over circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. This profound mastery, born from intentional silence and the power of observation, culminates in an even more spectacular demonstration of divine favor, as assured by the timeless words of Psalm chapter 23, verse 5. God prepares a table for you in the presence of your enemies. They must silently watch you get anointed and your cup run over. This is not a metaphor for a distant future hope, but a present reality for those who trust in divine vindication. Imagine the scene while adversaries plot and whisper, while they observe your unwavering peace and silent strength, a heavenly feast is laid out specifically for you. It's a table laden with blessings, favor, and abundance prepared by the Creator of the universe. The most striking element is not just the provision, but the setting right in the very presence of those who wished you ill. They are not merely observing from a distance. They are compelled to witness your anointing, to see your cup overflowing with grace, joy, and prosperity. Their forced silence is not a sign of victory, but a testament to the undeniable hand of God moving on your behalf. There is no need for you to utter a single word of defense or retaliation, for God Himself orchestrates this magnificent display of honor, ensuring that His glory is revealed through your undeniable blessing, leaving your detractors with nothing but the bitter taste of their own malice as they behold your divinely appointed triumph. Their forced silence is not a sign of victory, but a testament to the undeniable hand of God moving on your behalf. There is no need for you to utter a single word of defense or retaliation, for God Himself orchestrates this magnificent display of honor, ensuring that His glory is revealed through your undeniable blessing, leaving your detractors with nothing but the bitter taste of their own malice as they behold your divinely appointed triumph. This spectacular vindication is intimately linked to another profound truth. Your silence is saving blessings. Loose speech often leaks grace, but privacy keeps the oil jar full. Consider your blessings, both those you currently possess and those that are still in their nascent stages of manifestation, as precious oil in a sacred jar. Each divine whisper, each answered prayer, each miraculous provision is a drop of this anointing. When we engage in loose speech, be it boasting, complaining, gossiping, or even prematurely revealing our dreams and plans to those who lack the capacity to genuinely support them, we risk puncturing that jar, allowing the precious oil of grace to slowly leak away. Privacy, however, acts as a sturdy lid, preserving the potency and volume of God's favor. It creates a sacred enclosure around your budding dreams and unfolding blessings, protecting them from the draining energies of doubt, envy, or premature exposure. Just as a plant needs quiet soil to root deeply before it can blossom, your blessings require a fertile ground of silence and discretion to mature and fully manifest. This intentional guarding of your words and your sacred spaces ensures that the divine anointing remains full, potent, and ready to be poured out in its appointed time without being diminished by unnecessary external interference. This intentional guarding of your words and your sacred spaces ensures that the divine anointing remains full, potent, and ready to be poured out in its appointed time without being diminished by unnecessary external interference. Ultimately, in this journey of profound trust and intentional silence, you realize the best revenge is not retaliation, but letting God vindicate you. And the way God does it is always more spectacular than you doing it yourself. The human impulse for vengeance is a natural, yet often destructive reaction to perceived injustice. It whispers promises of satisfaction, but frequently delivers only more bitterness, perpetuating cycles of hurt and resentment. However, as you deepen your spiritual walk, you come to understand that surrendering the need to personally settle scores is not an act of weakness, but a monumental act of faith. It is an acknowledgement that your Creator, who sees all and knows all, is perfectly capable of rendering justice in a way that is far more comprehensive, satisfying, and divinely orchestrated than any human attempt. When God vindicates you, it is not merely about evening the score. It is about restoring your honor, elevating your position, transforming your circumstances, and often compelling your detractors to silently witness your undeniable blessing. His method is always grander, more precise, and imbued with a grace that human retaliation can never achieve. He turns curses into blessings, opens doors that no one can shut, and showcases his faithfulness in a way that leaves no doubt about his power and love for you. This divine vindication brings not just justice, but also peace closure and a profound sense of awe, reinforcing that your trust in his perfect timing and omnipotent hand is always the wisest and most rewarding path. The human heart, when wounded or wronged, often yearns for a justice it believes only its own hand can deliver. The burning desire for retribution can consume the spirit, dragging it into a relentless cycle of bitterness and resentment, chaining the soul to the very transgressions it seeks to punish. But in this tempest of human emotion, a profound and liberating truth echoes from the ancient texts, a divine decree that offers solace and strength to the weary soul. Romans chapter 12, verse 19. It whispers, "Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, 'Vengeance is mine, I will repay,' says the Lord." This is not a call to passive resignation, but an invitation to unparalleled spiritual freedom, a powerful release from the burdensome task of carrying another's judgment. To truly let God do his work is to acknowledge a higher perfect justice that transcends our limited understanding and fallible execution. It is to trust in a sovereign power that sees every wrong, knows every heart, and will repay with an equity and precision that human vengeance can never achieve. When we surrender the desire for personal retaliation, we unburden our spirits, allowing peace to flourish where anger once festered. We step aside from the fray, confident that the divine hand will administer recompense not out of petty spite, but out of eternal righteousness. This act of faith becomes a powerful shield, protecting our inner sanctuary from the corrosive acid of unforgiveness and preserving our energy for the divine purpose for which we were called. From the quiet strength found in relinquishing vengeance emerges an unshakable focus, a singular dedication that becomes a beacon in the spiritual realm. This intense concentration, particularly in a chosen one, is a force so potent that it strikes terror into the heart of the enemy. The adversary, whether internal doubt, external distraction, or malevolent spiritual forces, thrives on chaos, division, and aimlessness. They seek to scatter your thoughts, derail your purpose, and sow confusion in your path. But when they behold a soul deeply rooted in divine trust and unwavering in its mission, they are confronted with an unstoppable momentum. A focused, chosen one is not merely pursuing a goal. They are aligned with a divine blueprint, channeling celestial energy and purpose into their earthly walk. This focus is a spiritual magnet, attracting blessings and opportunities while simultaneously repelling the darkness that seeks to impede progress. It is a declaration of intent, a visible manifestation of divine favor and unwavering resolve that whispers to the enemy, "Your schemes are futile." This vessel is consecrated and cannot be swayed. The terror they experience is not just fear of what you might accomplish, but fear of the divine power flowing through you, a power that has no rival and knows no defeat when directed with such clarity and conviction. This profound focus, cultivated in the quiet sanctuary of trust and purpose, finds its deepest resonance and physical manifestation in silence. Far more than just the absence of noise. Silence becomes a sacred space where the very fabric of your being can heal and regenerate. In our hyper-stimulated world, the nervous system is constantly bombarded, triggering a relentless release of cortisol, the notorious stress hormone that erodes peace and health. But within the embrace of silence, a powerful detox begins. You are actively shedding the accumulated weight of anxiety, worry, and tension, literally allowing your body to release the harmful cortisol that has clung to your cells. In its place, a gentle healing wave of serotonin washes over you, ushering in feelings of profound peace, contentment, and well-being. This is not merely an emotional shift. It is a physiological reset. Your brain waves slow, your breathing deepens, and your entire system recalibrates, moving from a state of fight or flight to one of rest and repair. Imagine a tranquil lake after a storm, its surface now smooth and reflective. That is the nervous system in silence, calm, clear, and perfectly poised to recharge and draw from an inexhaustible wellspring of inner strength and serenity. It is in this quiet that true resilience is forged, preparing you not just for the battles ahead, but for a life lived in profound, unshakable peace. As you immerse yourself in this profound silence, regenerating and recharging, an unexpected dynamic unfolds with those who once abandoned you. Often those who depart from your life, especially under difficult circumstances, harbor a hidden expectation. They secretly anticipate your collapse. They wait, sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously, for the news of your struggle, your downfall, or your despair, believing that your failure will somehow validate their decision to leave or alleviate their own guilt. They long for the opportunity to gloat, to point to your unraveling as proof of their foresight. Yet your steadfast silence, permeated by an undeniable inner peace, delivers a crushing disappointment to these very expectations. It is a powerful, unspoken rebuttal to their narratives of your inevitable demise. When they observe your tranquility, your continued composure, and the absence of the chaos they had predicted, their carefully constructed justifications crumble. Your peace is not passive. It is an active, formidable force that defies their projections and exposes the superficiality of their hopes. This profound disappointment strips them of the satisfaction they craved, leaving them to confront the stark reality of your unwavering strength and the divine protection that surrounds you, making your quiet endurance their most profound and unexpected defeat. Building upon this crushing disappointment, a divine promise from the ancient scriptures echoes with profound truth and prophetic power. Job chapter 8, verse 22 declares, "Those who hate you will be clothed with shame." This is not a human curse, but a divine assurance, a pronouncement of ultimate justice for those who harbor ill will and malicious intent. And in this divine orchestration, your unwavering silence becomes the most potent mirror, reflecting that very shame back onto them with piercing clarity. While they expect a reaction of anger, tears, or public outcry from you, a performance to feed their schadenfreude, your stillness offers none of it. Instead, your calm presence, born of inner peace and divine focus, creates a vacuum where their own negativity is amplified and made visible. They are forced to look at their own unkindness, their unfounded judgments, and their baseless hatred, not through the distorting lens of your expected suffering, but through the crystal clear, unblinking gaze of your composure. This silence acts as an invisible yet undeniable witness to their actions, and the shame promised in Job 8:22 becomes their attire. They find themselves exposed not by your words or accusations, but by the stark contrast between their internal turmoil and your profound serenity. It is a powerful testament to the fact that divine justice often operates not through overt retaliation, but through a quiet unveiling, allowing the truth to stand in its own light and illuminate the darkness of their own making. As the superficial hopes of your detractors crumble and their projected shame returns to them, an even more profound work is unfolding within you, unseen yet monumental. In this sacred quietude, you are not merely enduring. You are meticulously crafting an unshakable inner man, a spiritual edifice fortified by divine grace and wisdom. Your roots, like those of an ancient mighty tree, are not just clinging to the surface, but delving deep into hidden underground springs, drawing sustenance from sources that remain completely undisturbed by the tempests raging above. This silent subterranean growth ensures a foundation so solid that no external storm can ever truly dislodge your spirit or diminish your resolve. This period of quiet introspection and spiritual nourishment is crucial, a time where true strength is forged in the crucible of stillness, allowing your soul to be watered by the eternal springs of peace, wisdom, and divine love. It is here in the depths of your being that you are constructing a sanctuary, a fortress of the spirit that is impregnable to doubt, fear, or the machinations of any adversary. Each day of silence is a brick laid, a root extended, securing your spiritual foundation firmly in the rich, fertile ground of God's unwavering presence. This internal strengthening, though invisible to the casual observer, is the true source of your power, ensuring that when the time comes for you to rise, your stability will be as profound as your peace and your impact as undeniable as the dawn after the longest night. It is a testament to the divine alchemy where stillness transforms into an unbreakable core, an everlasting spring of resilience that will sustain you through all seasons. Therefore, resist with all your spirit the temptation to prematurely shatter this sacred silence. Do not be quick to speak, to react, or to re-engage with the world's clamor before your work is fully accomplished. Embrace this profound stillness, not as a void to be filled, but as a divinely ordained. Indeed, while you meticulously cultivate your inner world and allow the divine winter to perform its necessary cleansing, your silence is not merely a passive state of retreat, but a potent harbinger that sends shivers of dread through the enemy. They fear you not because you are speaking, but precisely because you are silent, for they instinctively know that a profound and transformative storm usually follows such a period of intense quiet. You, the chosen one, are not just preparing. You are the storm of righteousness itself, a divine force about to make landfall with an unstoppable power. This is not a storm of destruction driven by human anger, but a righteous manifestation of truth, purpose, and divine justice, destined to sweep away falsehoods and establish what is pure and true. Your adversaries, accustomed to your previous reactions, are confounded by your stillness, mistaking it for weakness, yet their deepest instincts scream of the impending shift. They sense the gathering momentum, the spiritual pressure building beneath the calm surface, recognizing it as the precursor to a revelation of your true strength and calling. When this storm of righteousness makes landfall, it will not be with the clamor of human vengeance, but with the resounding force of divine affirmation, shaking the foundations of injustice and illuminating the path for those who seek truth. Your quiet preparation is the very eye of this hurricane, a serene center from which immense power will soon emanate, ushering in a season of divine vindication and unprecedented impact that will leave no doubt about whose hand guides your destiny. Beyond the profound spiritual fortification and the strategic preparation for future impact, this period of sacred silence offers an invaluable lesson in the mastery of your own internal landscape. It teaches you emotional management, liberating you from the volatile chains of fleeting anger. In the absence of external noise and the constant pull to react, a space is created within where you can truly observe your emotions not as an uncontrollable torrent, but as passing clouds in the sky of your consciousness. You are no longer a slave to fleeting anger, driven by every provocation or perceived slight, but rather a discerning master of your reactions. This newfound emotional sovereignty is a direct result of detaching from the immediate impulse to respond, allowing a divine pause to intercede between stimulus and reaction. During this pause, the initial surge of cortisol, the stress hormone, can dissipate, and the serenity of serotonin can begin to flow, nurturing a calm and considered response instead of an impulsive outburst. Silence cultivates patience, deepens self-awareness, and builds an impenetrable shield against the manipulative tactics of those who thrive on provoking others. You learn that true power lies not in reacting to every external prompt, but in choosing your peace, protecting your energy, and responding from a place of divinely guided wisdom. This mastery over your emotional responses is a testament to the profound internal work you are undertaking, ensuring that your actions are always aligned with your higher purpose and never dictated by the fleeting, often destructive tides of human emotion. In its most profound manifestation, silence transcends mere quietude. It becomes a powerful statement, an eloquent testimony to inner wisdom that even the ancient scriptures acknowledge. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 28 beautifully articulates this truth, noting that even a fool is counted wise when he holds his peace, and he who shuts his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. This powerful verse elevates silence beyond a mere absence of noise, transforming it into a profound emblem of sagacity, making silence truly the jewelry of the wise. It suggests that even without uttering a single word, the very act of holding one's peace can imbue an individual with an aura of wisdom and discernment, precisely because it demonstrates self-control, thoughtfulness, and an understanding that not every thought or feeling needs expression. For the truly wise, silence is not a void, but a fullness, a deliberate choice born of deep spiritual insight. It is an adornment more precious than gold or gems, for it signifies a soul at peace, a mind unburdened by the need for constant validation, and a spirit deeply connected to the divine source of all understanding. This jewelry of the wise is forged in the fires of introspection and refined in the crucible of self-mastery, shimmering with the quiet confidence of one who knows the power of unspoken truth. It is the visible manifestation of your meticulously built inner man, the fruit of your winter season, and the serene calm before your righteous storm. To wear this jewelry is to walk in a sphere of profound respect, commanding attention not through clamor, but through the magnetic draw of a spirit firmly rooted in divine peace and an understanding that transcends the need for human explanation. In this sacred journey of self-discovery and divine connection, you are embarking on a profound spiritual education. You are learning the very language of heaven. This isn't a tongue spoken with human vocal cords, nor is it inscribed in earthly texts, but rather a profound intuitive understanding that transcends mere words. Heaven, in its infinite wisdom and gentle power, communicates not through the clamor and discord of the world, but through a still small voice, a subtle whisper that only the quieted soul can truly discern. To embrace this truth is to unlock a new dimension of guidance and intimacy with the divine, moving beyond the superficial and into the sacred depths where true communion resides. It is a revelation that defies the sensory overload of our modern existence, teaching us to attune our inner ears to a frequency often drowned out by the relentless symphony of daily life. This celestial lexicon is woven from threads of profound peace, unexpected clarity, in moments of confusion, and an undeniable sense of knowing that settles deep within the spirit. Think of Elijah, who did not find God in the roaring wind, the shattering earthquake, or the consuming fire, but in the gentle whisper that followed. This biblical narrative serves as a timeless testament to the divine preference for quietude as the medium for profound truths. Learning this language demands a deliberate withdrawal from the incessant clamor of the world, the demands of social media, the anxieties of news cycles, the endless pursuit of external validation, all of which act as static on the divine channel. It requires a conscious cultivation of solitude, prayer, and meditative stillness, transforming moments of quiet into powerful opportunities for spiritual reception. As you practice this sacred art, you begin to perceive not just surface-level information, but the very heart intentions of the Creator guiding your path with an unwavering certainty that originates from a source far beyond earthly comprehension. This spiritual discipline isn't merely about hearing. It's about becoming a resonant vessel for divine wisdom, allowing heavenly insights to reshape your perspective and empower your every step. This profound internal shift, this intentional embrace of silence and the pursuit of divine stillness carries far more weight than you might imagine. It reverberates beyond the confines of your own spirit, activating unseen forces on your behalf. Indeed, your very silence has activated angels to act, ushering in a season where celestial warriors engage in battles you were never meant to fight in the flesh. When you consciously choose to stop interfering with your own battles through carnal reactions, through the noise of worry argument, or earthly strategizing, you create an expansive sacred space in the spiritual realm, allowing these powerful angelic beings to step into their divine mandate and fight spiritually on your behalf. This is a radical act of surrender, a testament to deep faith that understands not all conflicts are to be resolved through human effort. To stop interfering with the flesh means to refrain from the impulsive, ego-driven responses that often exacerbate earthly conflicts. It's the conscious decision to not retaliate when provoked, to not obsess over perceived injustices, to not attempt to control outcomes through manipulation or incessant talking. Instead, by retreating into a space of prayerful watchfulness and silent trust, you effectively remove the human obstacles that often hinder divine intervention. Our earthly struggles and anxieties frequently create a cacophony that drowns out the quiet operations of heaven, much like static interfering with a clear signal. But when you quiet your own spirit, when you cease trying to exert carnal control, you are essentially giving the divine permission and the necessary strategic space for angels, God's mighty emissaries and warriors, to engage in spiritual warfare. They battle unseen principalities, dismantle oppressive strongholds, and clear pathways that human hands could never forge, ensuring that the true victory belongs to the Lord, not to our own limited strength or cunning. This act of quiet trust is not passive resignation. It is in fact the most potent form of spiritual warfare, for it aligns your will with heaven's strategy, inviting an overwhelming force to champion your cause. Building upon this profound truth, the sacred scriptures offer a divine blueprint for such battles, clearly articulating heaven's preferred strategy when overwhelming odds seem to loom. It is in this context that the timeless words of 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 17 resonate with a profound and liberating power, declaring, "You will not need to fight in this battle. Position yourselves, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord." This isn't merely advice. It is a prophetic utterance, a divine decree that shifts the burden of warfare from your weary shoulders to the omnipotent hands of the Almighty. It beckons you into a posture of expectant stillness, where faith becomes your shield and quiet trust your most formidable weapon, promising a victory orchestrated beyond human comprehension. In this extraordinary display of divine intervention, a remarkable shift in power dynamics occurs, one that completely upends the conventional expectations of conflict. The enemy is being ghosted by their very victim, and this strategic withdrawal flips their script of dominance upside down. This isn't the trivial act of avoidance, but a profound spiritual maneuver where you, by choosing silence and divine trust, become an enigma to those who sought to control or harm you. When you cease to react, to engage in the drama, or to fuel the conflict with your emotional energy, you effectively remove the very oxygen that your adversary's tactics depend upon, rendering their strategies impotent and their efforts hollow. The adversary's script of dominance is predicated on provoking a response: fear, anger, despair, retaliation, which they then feed upon to assert their power and maintain control. They expect resistance, argumentation, and emotional outbursts, as these reactions confirm their perceived authority and energize their oppressive tactics. However, when met with strategic silence, with a quiet strength that emanates from a deeper source, their script is abruptly interrupted. Your non-reaction creates a void where they anticipated engagement, leaving them bewildered, disoriented, and fundamentally disempowered. This ghosting is a reclaiming of your power not through outward aggression, but through an internal steadfastness that refuses to be manipulated. It strips the enemy of their ability to predict your moves, to exploit your vulnerabilities, or to draw you into their chaotic arena. They are left without a target, without the feedback loop they require, finding themselves battling an unseen force, the very angels activated by your stillness rather than a weary human opponent. This reversal is a powerful act of divine justice, demonstrating that true strength lies not in the loudest voice or the fiercest fight, but in the quiet confidence of a soul anchored in God, turning the tables completely on those who once presumed mastery. The once dominant aggressor is now left grappling with an unexpected and unsettling silence, their dominion shattered by their victim's refusal to play their game. This assurance of coming joy is not a novel concept, but a timeless promise beautifully encapsulated in the ancient scriptures. Psalm chapter 126, verse 2, proclaims with resounding clarity, "Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing." This verse, born from the heart of a people experiencing a miraculous return from captivity, perfectly mirrors the redemptive arc that is unfolding in your own life. Just as they marveled at a turnaround so profound, it felt like a dream, so too will you look back upon this period of waiting and see it transform into a vibrant tapestry of divine intervention. Imagine that moment when every suppressed emotion finds its release in genuine mirth, when every quiet prayer bursts forth into spontaneous praise. This isn't just about fleeting happiness, it's about a deep, soul-satisfying joy that flows from the recognition of God's faithful hand, turning mourning into dancing and sorrow into an exuberant song of deliverance. It is a holy echo of redemption, a testament that the seeds sown in tears are now bearing fruit in abundant rejoicing. Therefore, in this period of quiet preparation, do not allow the fear of being misunderstood to weigh down your spirit. It is a common human struggle to desire affirmation and comprehension from those around us. Yet sometimes our most profound work, our most significant growth occurs in the crucible of solitude and silence, often unseen and unappreciated by others. Consider the ultimate example, Jesus himself. He was perhaps misunderstood most profoundly precisely when he was silent. During his trial, his suffering, and even in the grave, his silence was not an absence of purpose, but the very essence of his redemptive mission. While onlookers scoffed, while disciples despaired, and while the world remained oblivious to the cosmic significance of those quiet hours, he was fulfilling the deepest, most sacrificial act of love known to humanity. His silence was not weakness, but power, not abandonment, but ultimate embrace. So too in your own journey, when your intentions are misconstrued, when your quiet endurance is mistaken for idleness, or your spiritual battles go unnoticed. Remember that it is often in these unobserved moments of profound inner work that God is using you to fulfill a greater, more intricate part of His plan. Trust in the divine understanding, for it transcends all human perception. You are undergoing a profound and sacred transformation, a divine upgrade from the weary fighter to the serene peacemaker. This shift marks a deeper understanding of your purpose. No longer are you destined to participate in the cacophony of conflict, but to graciously usher peace into every space you inhabit. your presence itself becomes a balm, a quiet declaration that harmony will prevail where chaos once sought dominion. This is not a retreat from the world, but an evolution of your spirit, empowering you to diffuse tension not with more noise, but with the quiet, anchored strength of a soul rooted in divine serenity, radiating an energy that disarms, heals, and transforms. In this newfound stillness, a remarkable clarity emerges, sharpening your spiritual discernment to an unprecedented degree. Silence, often mistaken for emptiness, is in fact a potent presence that unveils hidden truths. It is within these quiet moments that the deceptive veils of the world begin to thin, allowing you to perceive the motives of others with profound insight. You are gifted with the ability to see the knife behind the smile, to discern genuine intent from manipulative overtures, not through suspicion, but through an intuitive knowing that transcends spoken words. This deep insight empowers you to navigate complex human interactions with both wisdom and grace, protecting your peace. As you embrace this profound calmness, an unexpected terror grips your adversaries. Your stillness, far from indicating weakness, is perceived as an ominous presage, a silent and unwavering countdown to their inevitable downfall. They sense their own demise in your unshakable peace, for your tranquility is not born of ignorance, but of an unyielding faith that their reign of chaos is drawing to a decisive close. Every breath you take in quiet resolve echoes as a tolling bell, for their schemes each moment of your serene steadfastness, a tick of the clock towards their ultimate collapse. This quiet confidence is the most potent weapon, dismantling their power structure from within. Let the ancient promise from Micah chapter 7, verse 8 resonate deep within your spirit. Do not rejoice over me, my enemy. When I fall, I will arise. This profound declaration is not a distant echo, but a present reality being forged within you. Your current silence is precisely that sacred interval, a chrysalis of strength, a hidden season of gathering momentum. It is not a sign of defeat, but a strategic pause where divine power is being quietly amassed. Like a spring coil taut before its release, you are drawing inward, consolidating spiritual energy, preparing not just to stand, but to ascend with an unwavering purpose and a strength that will truly astound those who once presumed your fall. This season of quietude is an invaluable invitation, a divine directive to diligently hone your most powerful spiritual weapon, the living Word of God. Just as a skilled warrior meticulously sharpens their blade in preparation for crucial engagements, so too must you immerse yourself in the sacred texts, allowing them to refine your spirit and fortify your resolve. A truly sharp sword, unlike a dull one that struggles and makes noise, cuts through chains with effortless precision and most profoundly in utter silence. When the time comes to dismantle the unseen bonds that seek to hold you, your divinely sharpened truth will sever them swiftly, cleanly, and without fanfare, leaving no doubt as to the source of your liberation. As your spiritual sword is honed, you are simultaneously liberated from the burdensome need to constantly prove your righteousness or justify your path. There is a profound peace in understanding that your worth and truth do not hinge on verbal arguments or the fleeting opinions of others. Instead, a higher court presides over your journey, where two unwavering advocates will rise to your defense the relentless march of time and the undeniable evidence of the fruit you bear. These silent yet powerful attorneys will present your case with irrefutable clarity, allowing your character and the tangible results of your walk to speak volumes where words would only dilute your power. Let the quiet unfolding of your life be your most eloquent testimony. Indeed, this profound quietude, this refusal to engage in verbal battles or to desperately defend your honor, is far more than mere restraint. It is a radical, defiant act of faith. It is a testament to a deep, unshakable trust in the divine architect of your life. You are choosing to lean wholly into God's sovereign hand, understanding that His justice is far more perfect, His defense far more potent than any words you could ever utter. In this sacred stillness, you declare that you have entrusted your entire being, your reputation, and your destiny into the care of the Almighty, confident that He alone will fight your battles, vindicate your name, and orchestrate your ultimate triumph without a single word needed from your lips. This very trust, this quiet confidence is what infuriates the enemy, for they perceive your silence as a challenge to their manipulative power. They are desperately attempting to bait you, to provoke a reaction, to lure you out of the impenetrable refuge you have found. Their aim is to draw you into their chaotic arena where they believe they can regain control. But hear this prophetic word: do not be swayed. Do not abandon the sanctuary of your stillness. Remain steadfast, unwavering, anchored deep within the shadow of the Almighty, just as Psalm 91 declares. This divine covering is your impenetrable shield, your unshakable fortress. Stay still, for this season of calamity is transient, and it too shall pass, leaving you unharmed and profoundly strengthened within His protective embrace. As you abide in this sacred stillness, protected and strengthened, understand the profound spiritual reality unfolding around you. A monumental transfer of power is actively taking place. This is not merely a metaphor, but a divine decree being executed in the unseen realms. The control, the authority, the very trajectory of your life, which the enemy once attempted to usurp and manipulate, is now irrevocably shifting. It is being lifted from their grasping, chaotic hands and being firmly reestablished into the tender, sovereign, and all-powerful hands of your Creator. This is your ultimate liberation, a complete reclamation of your destiny. Embrace this shift, for your silent endurance has unlocked a new era where divine order is restored and peace reigns supreme, guided by the very heart of God. After enduring the crucible of life's trials, where the heat of suffering has tested your spirit, remember the profound promise found in the first epistle of Peter, chapter 5, verse 10. It assures us that having suffered a while, God Himself, the very source of all grace, will step in to perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. This divine work is often forged not in the clamor of complaint or the noise of contention, but in the quiet, reflective space of silence. It is within this sacred still furnace that true stability is forged, preparing your soul for the unwavering foundation He intends to build. Building on the foundation of stability found in silence, it is crucial to recognize your true identity and unparalleled access. You are not just anyone. You are a chosen one, handpicked and set apart for a divine purpose. Your immense privilege, therefore, is to engage in direct, intimate dialogue with the King of Kings the sovereign ruler of the universe. Do not under any circumstances lower yourself to the futile and distracting act of arguing with the guard. Those who stand at the periphery cannot understand the depths of your communion, nor can they thwart the direct line you have to the throne. Your energy is too precious to waste on skirmishes with those who lack comprehension or authority. In light of this sacred privilege, guard your peace and your powerful connection. Hold this silence, this profound inner stillness, as a most precious treasure. Do not for any fleeting moment of impulsiveness or irritation sell it cheaply by engaging in unproductive arguments or emotional outbursts. Your silence is not weakness. It is a strategic stronghold, a testament to your faith and the authority you carry. It preserves your energy, protects your spirit, and allows divine wisdom to permeate your being, far from the chaotic noise of the world's trivialities. Cherish it, for it is a gift. Indeed, as you maintain this treasured silence and authoritative stillness, an unexpected phenomenon will confirm your path. The enemy's fear is not a deterrent, but rather a profound sign that you are precisely on the right track, moving forward with divine purpose. Their attempts to provoke and distract are born of their recognition of the power you wield even in your quietude. So when you sense resistance or unease from those who oppose your journey, take it as validation. Continue walking fearlessly in this authoritative stillness, knowing that your unwavering composure is a force more potent than any shout or struggle. This powerful stillness is not a void, but a space filled with divine presence. Remember the tender promise from Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17, which declares, "He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love." This beautiful scripture reminds us that God himself is actively present in your silent moments, not merely observing, but loving you deeply within that quietude. In the hushed sanctuary of your spirit, he finds joy in your peace and calms your heart with an outpouring of his boundless affection. Even in your deepest stillness, you are profoundly seen, cherished, and loved by the Almighty. This profound realization of God's abiding love in your quietness brings us to a powerful truth. Your silence today is not an empty void, but the fertile ground from which the roar of tomorrow will erupt. The moments of quiet endurance, the seasons of patient suffering, and the steadfastness you cultivate in stillness are not in vain. The world, eager to hear complaints and witness struggles, will be met instead with an undeniable testament to divine intervention. They will not hear your grievances nor your cries of despair, but instead they will be compelled to hear the resounding applause celebrating your triumph, the glorious culmination of your unwavering faith, and the silent yet mighty work of God within you. Embrace this truth. Your quiet resolve is forging a future of resounding victory. Having embraced this prophetic truth that your quiet strength prepares you for a future of resounding victory, it is time to publicly affirm the divine identity bestowed upon you. You are not merely a survivor of life's trials. You are an individual purposefully selected, set apart, and equipped for a magnificent journey. This understanding is not a boast, but a declaration of faith and a recognition of the sacred covenant God has established. Your declaration strengthens not only your own spirit, but also inspires others who silently wage their own battles, reminding them of the inherent power within. Therefore, in a spirit of collective affirmation, we invite you to engrave your conviction. Leave a comment below, boldly proclaiming, "I am chosen one." Let your written voice resonate with the strength of your profound calling and the certainty of your divine appointment. As you stand firm in your identity as a chosen one, knowing that your quiet endurance blossoms into public success, remember that this powerful message is not meant to be held in isolation. There are countless other warriors walking through their own furnaces of stability, grappling with challenges that threaten to overwhelm their peace. They too are called to a higher form of warfare, one fought not with shouts and clamor, but with the quiet courage of a spirit settled in divine love. Many are struggling in silence, unaware of the profound strength found in stillness and the strategic advantage of a heart anchored in God's presence. Extend a hand of hope and enlightenment. Share this video with those warriors who need to learn how to fight, truly fight, in the quietness of their spirit, harnessing the power of God's anointing in every silent step. By sharing this message and affirming your chosenness, you become an active participant in a movement far grander than any individual effort. This community, this growing assembly of unwavering hearts, is unified by a shared understanding of divine strategy, that true power resides not in ostentation or boisterous display, but in the steadfast, silent work of the Spirit. We are forging an army not of physical might or loud proclamations, but of spiritual fortitude and quiet conviction, an army that understands the profound strength found in waiting, trusting, and moving only by divine instruction. To further strengthen this quiet legion, do not forget to like and subscribe. Your engagement helps us reach more souls, building an army that needs no noise to win only the undeniable presence of God. So as we part ways for now, carry this truth deep within your soul. The journey through silence is not a solitary path, but a purposeful pilgrimage towards unparalleled glory. Every moment of quiet endurance, every decision to hold your peace, every instance where you chose stillness over impulsiveness is an investment in the magnificent future God has prepared. The challenges you face today are merely refining fires, shaping you into the perfect, established, strengthened, and settled being He promised. Do not despair in the quiet. Embrace it as the sacred space where divine transformation occurs. I eagerly await the day when we shall collectively witness the culmination of this quiet strength. See you on the other side of silence, where the full manifestation of God's glory awaits. Amen.